we're going to explain the type error cannot pickle weakref objects error in Python. This error typically pops up when you try to serialize, save or transmit objects that contain references to other objects using Python's Pickle module. And one of those references is a weak reference. 1. Let's understand what weak references are. A weak reference doesn't prevent the garbage collector from deleting the referenced object when it's no longer needed elsewhere. This is great for memory management. It avoids circular references and memory leaks. However, it creates problems when pickling. 2. Pickling is a process that converts a Python object hierarchy into a byte stream, allowing you to save it to a file or transmit it over a network. The Pickle module does this by traversing the object graph, saving each object and its relationships. 3. When Pickle encounters a weak reference, it doesn't know how to handle it because the object pointed to by the weak reference might already be garbage collected. If the weak reference is directly pickled, Pickle tries to access the referenced object, but because it's potentially gone, Pickle fails with the type error cannot pickle weakref objects error. Consider a scenario. You have a class A, which contains a weak reference to an instance of class B. If you try to pickle an instance of class A, the Pickle module gets confused by the weak reference to the instance of B, because that instance of B may not exist anymore when the pickling process starts and it cannot serialize it. 5. So how do we fix it? The simplest solution is to avoid using weak references in objects you intend to pickle. If the weak reference is essential for memory management, consider restructuring your code so that only the parts not requiring pickling utilize weak references. 6. Another approach is to break the circular dependency, or to store a copy of the object, instead of a weak reference in the attribute of your main object before pickling. You can copy the data needed from the referenced object and use this copy in place of the weak reference. 7. If removing weak references is not feasible, you might need a different serialization method that handles weak references gracefully. Libraries like dill are often suggested as a replacement for Pickle, because they support more object types and often handle weak references better, but even dill might still throw an error depending on how the weak reference is used. 8. In summary, the type error cannot pickle weakref objects is triggered because Pickle cannot serialize a weak reference. This usually happens because the object the weak reference points to might not exist anymore. The solution generally involves restructuring your code to avoid using weak references in objects you need to pickle, or finding an alternative serialization approach.